Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time, we're going to be talking all about AI in the workplace.
Nice.
Specifically, we're going to be looking at a McKinsey report that came out back in January of this year, 2025, called Superagency in the Workplace.
Yeah.
And, this whole report is really interesting because it's all about how AI can actually empower people, not replace them, to do some really amazing things in the workplace.
Right.
Unlock some huge potential, as they put it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of potential to unlock.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they're talking potential productivity gains of like $4.4 trillion.
Yeah, you said it. But get this. Only 1% of companies actually feel like they've mastered AI at this point.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes you wonder, are most companies just totally missing the boat here?
I think that's the question, yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting because McKinsey actually draws a parallel between AI today and the steam engine back in the 19th century.
Oh, okay.
Both were obviously huge leaps forward, and both had the power to completely change how industries work.
Yes.
But just like with the steam engine, it took time for people to figure out how to use AI effectively.
Oh, that's so interesting. So we're in the early days of the AI revolution.
That's a great way to put it.
Gotcha. But, okay, so if only 1% of companies really feel like they have a handle on AI, what's holding everyone else back?
Well, the report spent some time talking about that, and I think one of the big things is that the companies are just often focusing on those small, incremental improvements with AI.
Yeah.
Like, think about automating simple tasks, like data entry or something.
Right.
And it's helpful, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's not really transformative.
Totally. It's like using a Ferrari to go grocery shopping.
Right.
You're not really tapping into its full potential.
100%. Like, the real power of AI lies in actually tackling those big, complex challenges that have always been difficult for humans to solve.
Okay.
Like, we need to be thinking bigger. How can AI completely change the way we approach problems and create value?
All right. I'm starting to see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
But let's maybe break down some of the specific ways that AI is changing the game, at least right now.
Sure.
The McKinsey report actually highlights 5 kind of key innovations that they're seeing. And the first one that they talk about is enhanced intelligence.
Uh-huh.
Basically, AI is getting really, really smart.
It really is. Like, it's pretty mind-blowing how smart AI is getting. Like, it's capable of now passing bar exams.
What?
And even acing medical boards. Like, imagine having an AI colleague who could instantly access and process vast amounts of information.
Oh my gosh.
Make complex calculations, and even offer expert-level insights.
Okay, that would be, like, a pretty awesome study buddy to have.
Yeah.
But, okay, what about beyond just knowledge and information? What about AI actually doing things, right?
Yeah, and that's where the concept of agentic AI comes in.
Okay.
This is where AI goes beyond just, simply performing tasks as instructed. It can actually plan and act on its own, making decisions and taking actions to actually achieve a specific goal.
So it's like AI is graduating from following instructions to actually taking initiative.
Yeah.
Can you give us maybe a real-world example of what that might look like?
Sure. Think about a manufacturing plant.
Okay.
So in the past, you might have had, like, robots programmed to perform very specific tasks, right, on an assembly line.
Yeah.
But with agentic AI, those robots could actually analyze data from the entire production process, identify potential bottlenecks, and even adjust their own actions to actually optimize efficiency.
That's incredible. And it sounds like, too, that we're kind of moving away from the days of AI just being about text and numbers, right?
Yes.
The report also talks about multimodality, this idea that AI is like becoming multisensory in a way.
That's right. Multimodality means AI can now process information from multiple sources, not just text.
Oh, okay.
We're talking images, audio, video.
Yeah.
It's like AI is developing its senses.
Yeah.
And just like our senses work together to give us a complete picture of the world, AI's multimodal capabilities allow it to understand and interact with the world in a much kind of richer and more nuanced way.
So it's like AI is going from reading a textbook to actually experiencing the world firsthand.
Yes.
And I bet processing all that information requires some serious computing power.
Right.
And that kind of brings us to the next innovation on the list, which is hardware is catching up, right?
Absolutely. All those complex AI algorithms need immense processing power to run effectively.
Yeah.
But the good news is that hardware is rapidly advancing.
Okay, good.
So this means that businesses can actually implement more sophisticated AI solutions without, completely breaking the bank.
Yeah.
And it also makes AI tools more accessible and user-friendly for everyday employees.
That's good news. So we've got smarter AI, more capable AI, and more affordable AI. But what about the human side of the equation, right? Are employees actually ready for all of this?
Well, and that's where the superagency concept really comes in. The report found that employees are actually much more comfortable with AI than their leaders might think.
Really? Tell me more.
Yeah, in fact, the report found that employees are using AI tools in their work 3 times more than their boss's estimate.
3 times?
There's a real disconnect there.
Wow, that's a huge gap. Why do you think that is? Are bosses just kind of out of touch with what's happening on the ground?
It's a great question, and there could be a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
And the report actually goes into some potential explanations.
Right.
It could be fear or a lack of training.
Right.
Or even just a lack of communication about how AI is actually being used within the company.
Oh, okay. So we've got a little bit of a mystery to solve here. Why are bosses so clueless about their employees' AI use?
Right.
And what does this disconnect actually mean for the future of AI in the workplace?
Yeah.
We'll dive into all of that after a quick, just kidding. We're going to keep this deep dive going.
Yeah.
No brakes on this train. Stay tuned because we've got a lot more to uncover. It sounds like companies have a real opportunity to bridge that gap, though.
Absolutely.
And, to actually empower their employees to use AI in even more effective ways.
For sure.
What are some of the, steps that they can take to do that?
Well, the report really highlights the importance of creating this culture of superagency.
Okay.
And so that means providing employees with the training and resources they need to actually feel confident.
Right.
Using AI tools, encouraging experimentation and innovation with those tools.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I think really importantly, fostering that open communication.
Yeah.
About the potential benefits.
Yeah.
And also, honestly, the challenges of AI adoption.
So it's not just about giving employees access to the technology, right? It's also about creating this whole environment.
Yes.
Where they feel comfortable, actually exploring its potential.
100%.
And using it to their advantage.
Yeah, and feeling safe to do so.
Totally.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, and it's also, I think, important for companies to really think about those ethical implications of AI.
Yes.
And to make sure that they're deploying it responsibly, right? They need to have those clear guidelines.
Absolutely.
And those governance structures in place, be transparent about how AI is actually being used.
Yeah.
And really address any concerns that employees might have.
Right.
Really important.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's about building that trust, right?
Yeah.
And making sure that AI is actually being used in a way that benefits both the company and its employees.
100%, I agree.
But let's maybe shift gears a little bit.
Sure.
And talk about the potential impact of AI on different generations of workers.
Okay.
The report actually specifically calls out millennials.
Yeah.
Why millennials?
It's interesting because it seems that millennials, particularly those now in management positions, tend to be the most comfortable with AI.
And the reason they think this is that they grew up with technology that's constantly evolving at such a rapid pace.
Yeah.
So they're just more accustomed to having to adapt and embrace new tools.
Makes sense. It's like they've always had a smartphone in their hands, so they're not as intimidated by new technology.
Exactly.
Well, what does this mean then for, leaders who may not be as digitally native?
Well, I think it really highlights the need for leadership development and training.
Right.
In the realm of AI, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Because leaders need to understand not only the technical aspects of AI, but also how to effectively manage teams that are using AI tools.
Right.
So, they need to be able to foster that culture of learning and collaboration.
Yeah.
Where everyone feels empowered to kind of contribute to the company's AI strategy.
So it sounds like a real shift in mindset is required here.
Yeah.
Instead of maybe fearing AI as this threat, leaders need to actually see it as an opportunity.
Sure.
To empower their teams.
Yep.
And to really drive innovation.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's really the heart of superagency.
Oh.
It's about humans and AI working together, leveraging each other's strengths to do incredible things.
Totally. So we've talked about, the potential benefits of AI.
Yes.
The importance of deploying it responsibly and, the need for leaders to really embrace this new era of work.
Right.
But But let's go back to that initial statistic that kind of sparked our conversation.
Yeah.
The fact that only 1% of companies feel like they've truly mastered AI.
Right.
Why is that number so low?
Well, I think, like we talked about earlier, a lot of companies are still stuck in that rut.
Yeah.
Of just using AI for these really small incremental improvements.
Right.
They're not yet thinking big enough.
Yeah.
Or exploring the truly transformative possibilities of AI.
So what are some examples then of those big, hairy, audacious goals that AI could actually help us achieve?
Well, I think the report gives some really fascinating examples.
Okay.
For example, in manufacturing, right? We're starting to see AI-powered robots being used to create highly customized products.
Wow.
Which is actually leading to this kind of resurgence in local manufacturing.
Interesting.
And then, in the energy sector, we're seeing predictive AI being used to actually optimize energy consumption.
Okay.
And reduce our reliance on fossil fuels.
Okay, so those are some pretty impressive examples.
Right.
But those are just two industries, right?
Right.
What about all the other sectors out there?
Right.
Like, what are the possibilities for, our listeners' industry?
And that's where it gets really exciting.
Okay.
Because, think about healthcare.
Yeah.
AI could be used to actually personalize treatment plans.
Wow.
Accelerate drug discovery, and even predict outbreaks of infectious diseases.
That's incredible.
And in finance, AI could revolutionize risk management, fraud detection, and even investment strategy. I mean, the possibilities really are kind of endless.
It's almost overwhelming to think about, the sheer scope of AI's potential.
Yeah.
But it's about, as you said, shifting our thinking from fear to possibility.
Absolutely.
And that brings us to another interesting point that's raised in the report.
Okay.
Which is that, while revenue growth from AI has actually been pretty slow so far, executives are incredibly optimistic about the future.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, I think it really suggests that while companies might not be seeing, the immediate financial returns from AI just yet, they do recognize its transformative power.
Right.
And they're willing to invest for the long term.
So they're planting seeds now.
Yes.
That will eventually grow into towering trees, even if it takes a while.
100%.
So it's not just about the technology itself. It's also about having the right mindset, the right strategies in place, and the right culture to truly unlock AI's potential.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right.
And the report actually goes on to outline 6 key elements of what they call the rewired framework for successful AI adoption.
Right.
So these are the things that companies need to actually focus on to create the right conditions for AI to thrive.
That's exactly right.
So let's maybe break those down one by one.
Yeah.
What's the first element?
The first element is adaptability. The AI world is constantly evolving. So many new technologies and applications emerging all the time. Companies need to be nimble and flexible.
Right.
Ready to adjust their strategies and really embrace those new opportunities as they come up.
So it's not enough to just implement AI and then just sit back and relax.
Yeah.
You need to be constantly learning and experimenting and evolving.
Yes.
Right alongside the technology.
100%.
Okay, so what's the second element?
So the second element is federated governance.
Okay.
And this is all about striking that right balance between control and innovation.
Right.
So, on the one hand, companies need to have those clear guidelines and oversight in place to ensure that AI is being developed and used responsibly. But at the same time, they also need to give their teams the freedom to actually experiment and explore new possibilities,
Right, so it sounds like it's a delicate balancing act.
It is.
You want to encourage that creativity and innovation.
Yeah.
But you also have to make sure that, things don't get out of hand.
Exactly.
Okay, so what about the third element?
So the third element is budget agility.
Okay.
And, because AI is such a rapidly evolving field, companies need to be prepared to actually shift resources as needed.
Right.
To capitalize on those new opportunities or address, emerging challenges that pop up.
So don't get too attached to your initial AI budget. You got to be prepared to kind of pivot and adjust your spending as the technology landscape changes.
Exactly.
Okay, so what's number 4 on the list?
All right, so number 4 is benchmarks.
Okay.
And we touched on this a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
But I think it's worth really emphasizing that using standardized benchmarks is absolutely crucial for measuring AI performance, comparing different models, and just, ensuring accountability across the board.
So it's like having a scorecard for your AI, right?
Yeah.
You need to be able to track its progress, identify areas for improvement, make sure it's meeting your expectations, all of that.
Exactly. And it's not just about, that technical performance either.
Right.
It's also about measuring things like fairness and transparency to ensure that AI is actually being used responsibly and ethically.
Right. That's a good point.
And the fifth element is skill gaps.
Okay. And this is something that I think, a lot of our listeners are probably thinking about, right? Like, how do I actually prepare for this new world of work where AI is like increasingly prevalent? What skills do I need to develop? That kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's a very natural question to be asking yourself at this time.
Right.
And the report actually highlights the importance of investing in training programs and upskilling employees to make sure they have the skills to actually thrive in this, AI-powered workplace.
Right.
And it's not just about those technical skills, like coding or data science.
Yeah.
It's also about developing, things like critical thinking and problem solving and communication skills.
Right.
Which will become even more valuable as AI kind of takes over those more routine tasks.
So it's almost like we have to become more human, not more robotic.
In a way, yeah.
It's about honing those like uniquely human skills that AI can't replicate.
Exactly. And so finally we come to the sixth element of the rewired framework.
Okay, the final element.
Which is probably the most important.
Okay, lay it on us.
And that is human centricity.
Human centricity.
And this kind of brings us full circle back to the concept of superagency.
Right, yeah.
It's not about AI replacing humans.
Yeah.
It's about AI empowering humans to do more than they ever could before.
And so human centricity in a workplace setting, like what does that actually look like?
Well, I think it means designing AI systems that are intuitive and user-friendly.
Yeah.
It means involving non-technical employees in the development process from the start.
Okay.
And it means really prioritizing those ethical considerations every step of the way.
Okay.
It's about using AI to augment human capabilities.
Yeah.
Not diminish them.
I like that.
It's a very important distinction.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into AI in the workplace, I think, it's clear that we're at a pretty pivotal moment.
I think so.
AI has the potential to completely revolutionize the way we work.
Absolutely.
But it's really up to us to ensure that this revolution is actually a positive one.
That's the key takeaway.
Yeah.
We need to embrace the possibilities of AI.
Yeah.
While also being mindful of those potential risks and challenges.
Yeah.
We need to foster that culture of superagency where humans and AI can actually work together in harmony, leveraging each other's strengths to create a brighter future for everyone.
It's a very exciting and challenging time to be alive.
For sure.
And as we navigate this, uncharted territory, it's important to remember that the future is not something that just happens to us. It's something that we create.
Beautifully said.
And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive.
Yes.
We hope this conversation has given you some food for thought.
Yeah.
Maybe even inspired you to kind of embrace that superagency mindset in your own work.
Absolutely. And if you take away one thing from our discussion today, let it be this. The future of work is not about humans versus machines.
Okay.
It's about humans and machines working together to unlock our full potential.
I love that. I love that.
It's about partnership and collaboration.
Well said. And for our listeners who want to, continue the conversation, we encourage you to share your thoughts and insights on social media using the hashtag superagency at work. Until next time, keep diving deep.